A visit to the emergency room usually equals coughing up cash. But if you have insurance and you want to keep some of that money in your pocket, you try staying in network. Seems pretty simple, right? Well, maybe not in Texas, because even if the hospital you go to is in network, you can still walk out of the ER with a huge out-of-network bill.
It wasn't the way Tina Kazmarski planned to spend a Saturday early last year, but feeling under the weather,
I knew that I needed to see a doctor.
Kazmarski found herself making a trip to a hospital emergency room in Dripping Springs.
Yeah, I was there for about 6 hours.
Knowing insurance has rules, Kazmarski called ahead to make sure the hospital was in network.
They confirmed that they accepted my insurance, and off I went.
In the end, Kazmarski's medical emergency was no big deal. She was healthy, but a month later, she faced a second emergency, this one financial. It was a separate bill from the ER physician,
And it was for about $900.
one her insurance wasn't going to pay. The reason? The hospital was in network, but the doctor wasn't. And no one in the ER told Kazmarski.
I feel like it's a scam.
For the average consumer, that's...
It might feel like a scam, but Trey Burnt with AARP Texas says it's perfectly legal.
It's one of the biggest and largest growing consumer issues.
Exactly.
And few people are aware of the issue he calls surprise billing.
A medical crisis shouldn't be followed by a financial crisis, and that we need to put the brakes on this.
Surprise billing happens when an ER doctor, radiologist, or anesthesiologist works for a practice group, not the hospital. In Texas, a growing number of these groups don't accept the health insurance that hospitals take, making them out-of-network doctors. The result, ER patients can end up with huge medical bills their insurance won't cover. Burnt says he's seen surprise bills topping $8,000.
If you can't count on the insurance to cover you in an emergency, what can you count on?
The Center for Public Policy, an Austin think tank, recently studied the problem. Here's what they found. Looking at the three largest insurers in Texas, in 56% of Humana hospitals, there isn't a single in-network ER doctor. That's the case in 45% of United Healthcare hospitals and 21% in Blue Cross Blue Shield hospitals.
It's like it's a roll of the dice. As to what's going to happen to you, even if you ask all the right questions.
But couldn't hospitals help patients out? Only contract with ER doctors that accept in-network insurance? Burnt says AARP posed that question to hospitals all over Texas.
The answer I've heard so far has been, well, it's a marketplace, and in some cases they have difficulty recruiting physician groups. Frankly, we don't think that's a very adequate answer.
Recently, the Texas Department of Insurance set up a mediation program to help patients appeal surprise bills. Under it, insurance companies and doctors try to negotiate a lower price. But mediation isn't binding, so...
Now, they can still choose to disagree, and the consumer can still be stuck by a balanced bill.
And there's one more problem. Not all surprise bills qualify for mediation. If the tab is less than $1,000, like Kazmarski's was, you're out of luck. Something she learned after trying to appeal her surprise bill, but got a collection letter instead.
So the doctor wants his money, and I went on a payment plan.
AARP Texas and some other groups recently testified before a separate House and Senate panel on surprise billing. Trey Burnt hopes that lawmakers this legislative session will get something done, either prohibiting surprise billing here in Texas or lowering that $1,000 threshold in the mediation process. Now, if you've been surprise billed, here's what we would like you to do. Email us, find us on Facebook, or send us a message on Twitter. We'd like to take your stories to Austin and help people like Trey Burnt change the law. Reporting in San Antonio, I'm News 4 troubleshooter Stacey Cameron.